Today, we're going to be taking a look at set 2260 Ice Dragon Attack from the LEGO Ninjago theme, which contains 158 pieces and retailed for $19 and 99 cents. Now, if you want to purchase this set new today, it's going to cost you around 143 dollars. And if you want to purchase it used, it's going to cost you around 48 dollars. Moving on to our first minifigure, we have Zane, the Ninja of Ice. And I do want to get something out of the way. Mine is a little bit discolored as I bought mine used, but it does not seem to be showing up on camera, so I think that it is perfectly fine for this review still. Now, starting with his face is accurate to the show. His torso printing is accurate as well. Then we have the sash, which is accurate as well, and his legs are accurate as well. Now, one small little thing, it's not really that big of a deal, but his the tail printing for the dragon itself should have been a tad bit lower from what I saw. Then moving on to potential printing that he should have had here on his side, he should have definitely had printing here, but that is no big deal as there is really no minifigures that have printing on their side of the torso at all. Now, as for leg printing, he definitely should have had some leg printing here, indicating more portions of the dragon right here as well. And that should have bled into the back, which we're going to look at next right here. And we have Zane's symbol as well as his name, which is accurate. And then there should have been some printing right here along this right side to indicate more of the dragon on the front. Now, as you can see, he does not have an alternate face, but that's okay, as he's mostly going to be hooded up anyways. So this is him in his full gear right here. And he also comes with a black sword, which I wish instead of a black sword, they would have gave him some silver ninja stars, because he is trained to use ninja stars more than anything. And while I'm sure he could use a sword or any other weapon, ninja stars are what he's trained to use, and it just would have been better, I think, if they, included that for him in particular. Moving on to the second and final minifigure for this set, we have the Skulkin Crazy. Now, starting with his face is accurate to the show. His torso, he actually has armor in the show that covers this portion up. So it's a shame that we don't get armor for him. But this printing right here for his sash is accurate to him. And then taking a look at the back, he does not have any printing on the back, nor an alternate face. Now, he does come with this hat right here. And while this hat is not canon to the show, I think it suits him very well. I think the red really suits his little lipstick or makeup surrounding his mouth, and I think the blue really complements his sash, so I think it makes him more of a complete character. I just wish we would have gotten that armor with him. And the weapons that he is given for this particular set are actually the Ninja Stars of Ice. Now, I will say that these Stars of Ice are not accurate to how they look in the show, but I think they are okay for what we are given, but they definitely could have been a lot better. Finally, taking a look at the main thing you're paying for in this set, we have the Ice Dragon. Now, for the inaccuracies and the actual review, we're going to start with the head. So, bringing this head closer, we can start with this lower jaw here. So, the gray on this jaw, along with the orange right under it, that should all be black, matching his feet here. In his mouth, in the show, his tongue is orange, but here we have a play feature, and that's perfectly fine for me because the play feature pieces are orange as well, so that's a good thing for me. This line here that cuts through should be yellow, as it is in the show. The eye, here we have a completely black eye with a white pupil. In the show, the eye is yellow with an iris that is orange, and then the pupil is black. And then we have the colors for the dragon. So this blue color is fine as a base, but on top of it, it should have a bunch of shapes representing scales with a darker blue color. So that would have added to it, and that pretty much follows from this top plane right here. It goes from here all the way to this third one and down, so that none of these designs that you see on the side are present within the actual show version of the dragon. Now, looking at this top plane and these two top horns, those should all be a lighter blue than this that is shown here. So that is another inaccuracy. Moving on to the neck for the dragon, you can see that we are actually not given a neck, which is a shame because it's inaccurate to what we are shown in the show. In the show, he has a neck where the mount is placed on top of at the base of that neck. And we could have had, something about 2 studs or 4 studs in length, and that would have been fine and enough space for Zane to sit on. Another thing is this banner right here. First, the banner has the incorrect symbols. The orientation is incorrect as well. In the instructions, it's placed as shown, but then in the show, it's on this other side with the banner being on both sides. And the placement is incorrect as well. Instead of being back here on the, the end of the body, it should be connected to the actual mount that we should have had. Currently, Zane just sits back here on these 4 white studs. Moving on to the body portion, we have these translucent pieces, which the Ice Dragon does not have in the show. But the actual color scheme for this area is a light blue, such as that on the head, with spots of dark blue for texture of scales. The lower body, or the underside of the body, I should say, where this gray is here, this should be a light blue or white, but we're just giving gray in this case. And then from here, we can move on to these wings. First, these 3 little spikes coming out are inaccurate. Those are never shown in the show. Then taking a look at these wings, I would consider these the muscle and bones of the wings. And then the portion inside of that's supposed to go inside of here that's used to glide or fly should be white. But these muscles or bones, whatever they are, should be a light blue. And then these claws should be a yellow. And these inaccuracies are they are present on both wings. Now, from here, we can move on to the legs. The legs are definitely on the smaller side. They could have been at least 2 studs longer to give it more height. And then there should have been at least a couple more pieces here just to cover up this gray some and give it a fuller look. In the show, the dragon has knees, and here we don't have any knees, just the rotation of the foot and then where it's connected. But the color scheme should follow the same format as the body, where it has a lightish blue on top with darker blue showing scales, and then it as it goes down, it changes into what's on the underside of the body of a light blue to white color. From there, we can go back to the body where we should have had some spikes running down the back, which is the reason why Zane doesn't sit back there in the show, as the dragon has some spikes coming out the back all the way to around this portion of the tail. And the tail, let's see if I can get a good look of it on here. The tail, instead of being all white, it should have had a light bluish white on top and on the bottom, but on the sides it should have had a light blue that's consistent with the rest of the body. Now, if they would have done a brick built tail, they would have been able to achieve that easily, but they went with this route instead. Now, one thing, again, that I mentioned earlier was the play feature that's in the mouth. So the play feature that you get for this dragon, which is pretty much the only play feature that's advertised for this, is being able to shoot essentially some type of ice breath. Now, we can take a look at that here if you want. I'm going to shoot this off camera, and then we can show you that little play feature. And just like that, it has been shot, and that's the play feature you get. And of course, as a kid, you can imagine this is pretty much one of the coolest things ever. You can have, a little minifigure placed and shot at. You can shoot at them, pretending to freeze them, as this is the Ice Dragon. Now, I did want to talk about why I think this design is so inaccurate. And the reason for this is, I believe, it's because of the fact that there is a lightning dragon in the show that shares kind of the same color scheme as the Ice Dragon within the show, of course. So I think that the designers took a different route here and decided to, instead of keeping that same design, go with a white version to make it resemble more ice or a snowy feel. And I think that's okay, but I still think they could have definitely stuck to the design in the show, and we could have had still two very different dragons, of course, as the designs are very different. Seeing as this Ice Dragon resembles more of a wyvern, where it has back legs, but it doesn't have front legs. Instead, it has wings and claws on those wings. And the Lightning Dragon resembles more of a Western style dragon, where it has four legs, so it has four of these, and then wings and claws on those wings. Of course, that Lightning Dragon is very long, so it's debatable what type of dragon it is, but the point is that the designs are very different, that they could have still kept the design for, or the design for this dragon, which is shown in the show, and then had the Lightning Dragon design be what it is as well. So here we have everything that you get in this set. We have two minifigures and the Ice Dragon, along with the minifigures' weapons. Now, even though this set is highly inaccurate, I still think it's a good set. There is things that I wish they would have done differently. Even if they didn't go with the accuracy route to what is in the show, I think they could have added a neck easily and larger legs for the purpose of the anatomy of the dragon being a lot better. And they could have kept everything else the same, and I think I would have been happier with the set as a whole. Right now, to me, it just doesn't look very fearsome, what you would expect out of a dragon. Another thing is that for $19.99, for $20 retail value, I think that we could have gotten maybe one or two more Skulkin minifigures with this set. I think that just having a big dragon and Zane attacking, even if it's a Skulkin that's holding the golden weapons, I think that that's just kind of, the balance in terms of power is so different. I think having at least two more Skulkin there could have been, could have added more to the set as a whole, along with the obviously additions of the dragon's anatomy. And the set would have been, right now I think it's a good set, but adding those things that I just spoke about would have made the set a great set, even though there's so many inaccuracies. And then if they would have had an accurate set, that would have just been completely, a complete extra mile for it. But do I think the set is worth it now? Maybe. I think if you are a collector, if you're somebody who watched the show as a child, and you really enjoyed the show, and you always wanted these sets, I still don't think you would be disappointed with this set, just because of the nostalgia that this set holds for so many people. Seeing it in stores and stuff back then, but not being able to get it, and you want to get it now, I would say go for it. But go for it knowing full well what you're getting out of the set itself. You're not paying for something that's correct or something in which the anatomy is perfect. You're essentially paying more for nostalgia than anything else, which is perfectly fine. I understand that side of things. But the set itself, I think, is still a a a good set, but it could have been great, is all I'm gonna say. So again, thank you guys for watching the video. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know in the comments what you think of the set. Do you think it's still worth it nowadays, or do you think it's more of a nostalgia thing? Tell me what you think. I will be reading them if you comment. Again, like, subscribe if you enjoy the content. I will be trying to get more uploads out soon. And I hope you guys have a great day, night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Just have a great time.